Hello and welcome everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the peasant units in the game Conqueror's Blade. Game has been released recently, many things to find out, many new players, and I hope that I will answer some of your questions in this video. Let's get started. So, the peasant units, as you can see them in a unit tree, are the tenant farmers, the village watchmen, the serfs, and the woodcutters. These four units are peasant units. They are zero stars or only half a star. And you may ask, why do you want to have those units? Should you spend time or effort into leveling up those units, into upgrading them? Or are they just the start for the game until all you players out there can afford some better units? So, first of all, we're going to talk about the obvious characteristics of these units. And that is, they're all pretty cheap. So, when you want to recruit a new unit, and you go for serfs, for example, you pay 1,300 bronze once. And the same goes for the tenant farmers, and then the village watchmen, also 1,300, and the woodcutters also 1,300. That is something unique to these farmer units, because as soon as you go, for example, for a 1-star unit, you will also have to buy kits. And when your units die, not only do you need to heal them, but you will also have to resupply their kits, and that comes with a price. The cheapest ones already cost you 5,120 just to get a full sword militia unit. So not only are the peasant units cheaper to buy, but they're also cheaper to maintain, because in PvE content and on the open map, when you get pursued by other players and your unit dies, you have to resupply them with kits. Now the serfs and the village watchmen and the farmers and the woodcutters, they do not have a kit. They just take the tools off their workplace. They are freaking stealing from their employer. Many benefits. Very cheap to maintain, very cheap to buy, as I just demonstrated. Also very good is the low leadership cost of just 40 leadership with each and every one of these units. And all of these things are great. You will think, well, at some point I will have a lot of money, I will have a huge amount of leadership that I can spend on units every match. Especially in PvP sieges, you will want to have a lot of leadership, so you can bring in higher tier units, like for example prefecture pikemen. They are very strong, but they cost 4 times what one of these peasant farmers cost in leadership. Now, of course, when your leadership is high enough, then you will want to bring these strong units, but sometimes you will still want to bring some cheap units just to get everything out of your maximum leadership. When you have like 50 leadership left over, it's always nice to have that backup peasant unit to send in when you just want to keep the enemy side from advancing for a little bit. It's always good to have them. Now you might think, well, you don't have as many spaces for units and you do not want to focus on only one line. Do you really want to spend your unit spots, your unit expansions on these peasant units? And my obvious answer is yes, you want to do that. As you can see, even though I have bought a few more spaces, I want to keep at least 4 peasant units, and those are my elite farmer, militia. Are they on max level already? Yeah, they're on max level 10 out of 10. I believe I can level them up once more to get another upgrade point, but I'm not sure. They are elite because a unit becomes elite when you reach one of these orange circles, these star signs in the end of one of the lines that you can unlock through leveling up the unit. And one thing that you can see here that makes the farmers a really great unit to keep is the labor value. When you advance through the bottom line, in each and every one of these farmer units, these peasant units, you will maximize their labor value with things like harvest duties. Here, this will be able to, you will be able to unlock this one here at level 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to think that you start on level 1 and you don't get an upgrade point on level 1. So at level 5 you can get the first 20%, and then at level 10 you can get another 20%, and you will end up with 10 labor points, which is really good. What do you need labor points for? Well, labor points are the multiplier by which you get, which is calculated how much resources you get when you gather resources on the open map. For example, you spend a requisition order, and if your labor value is very high, then you might spend less requisition orders, might have to spend less bronze on gathering resources, because your wagon will be filled up more quickly. And no other unit, other than the peasant units, have this possibility of maximizing the labor value. All the other units, maybe the base value goes up at a certain level, but you do not have something like harvest duties. All of these labor units, peasant units, have that. The very nice thing is, my elite serfs now have a labor value of 11.2. Now, out of all of the peasant units, so far, as I understood the game and as I have experienced it, this is the highest labor value that you can get. If you look at the woodcutters, you might understand why I didn't choose them, because their labor value is 5.76 by default, the base value, and you get 20% bonus once. This one is not going to increase the labor value, and this one neither. Positive side for the woodcutters, they have a shield. They might be not too weak in combat, but these are peasant units. You will not focus on them if you want to deal damage. The very nice thing about the village watchmen is, by level 6, you will already have gotten their maximum harvest duty bonus, their labor bonus, and 9.52 is still not bad. That being said, let's summarize what we have so far. So, the peasant units are very cheap, cheap to get, cheap to maintain when they get killed. They have a great labor value, which gives you economical benefits when you're gathering resources, and you can take them in to fill out your open leadership. If you have 40 points or more, why not go with another unit of serfs or whatever? One question that might come up, Solomon, why do you have 2 serfs units? You can only take one of them into battle. That is very correct. However, if you want to leave the fief, that does not matter, as I will show you in a bit. Alright, we are at the Watchmen now. If I want to leave my fief, as you can see here, I have already my farmers, serfs, and another serf unit, village watchmen, and 1 pike militia unit. And I can leave the fief. It does not say that when you want to leave a town that you can only take 1 unit of a kind. And that results in me having a really great labor value of 46.48. I'm not sure what's the maximum possible with 5 serfs units of 11.2 each of them. I'd assume 56, right? However, if you want to have 4 serfs units, that will take up 4 of your units, unit slots in the barracks, and in battle you will still be able to only take one of them if you go into PvP or PvE expedition, etc. Or you will still have 4 serf units and elite farmers and village watchmen and so on, or elite watchmen if you get there, and it will take up a lot of your unit slots. You will want to keep those spear militias. Same goes for pike militia, in my opinion, and so on and so forth. Same goes for especially the arquebusiers of the low tier, which are amazingly strong. So at level 70 you would have 14 slots. At level 80 you'll have 15 slots. And now you spend half of that on just the peasant units. That will give you only very little access to a diversity of units, to give you access to certain strategies, to different strategies, to adapt to field battles and siege battles, etc. So I found for myself this to be the perfect combination of troops. 2 Serfs units, one farmer militia, and 1 village watchman troops. And you want to level them up, but because you're going to make use of them in some PvE content, they're going to level up anyway, so you don't really have to focus on that. Now, I will not go for this elite thing. It reduces unit resupply cost by 50%. Well, the unit resupply cost for a cheap peasant unit is less than 300 bronze. So half of that will be 150 bronze. So I'm really saving peanuts there, and I'm spending a whole upgrade point on that. I don't see the value in that. So instead I'm going to increase their damage, increase their health, stuff like that. So not all of it is worth it, but maybe this has given you a good overview over the peasant units, and I would really love to hear about what questions did I not answer. If you have open questions, just let me know in the comments below, and I hope I could help somebody. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Just, well, this point is not really worth it. That's quite funny, actually. Piercing defense plus 3%. Out of 31, if you look at that, that's plus 0.